Hey everybody, so here's a Kinstretch with Kim class that we did via Zoom that focuses a little bit on hip extension, tiny bit, and dabbles a lot in the cars and a little bit of hip internal rotation. Unfortunately, I'm having issues with my camera, so the video cuts off with Mara, but what I'm going to go ahead and do, and I don't like the quality of the Zoom, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to follow along actually my class, and I'll videotape me doing the class with you. So it'll cut off from Mara to me, but it'll still have the same audio from the class, so that because Mara had some good pointers or questions that happened during class, which is one of the reasons I love class. So you'll see it switch, but it's the same exact class. And then I'm going to add that extra little challenge that I talked about. So the challenge should kind of incorporate some of the stuff that we touched on, and it'll show how when we create better ranges in those things that we can have that active mobility or be able to access the flexibility that we use when we do certain positions, challenges, exercises, and such. So be sure to be following me in my Facebook private page, so that if you have any questions or comments or just want to drop in and say hi, you can do that there, and we can interact with each other and support each other there. So thanks for watching. Okay, so if you haven't taken Kinstretch before, I'm just going to really briefly talk about Kinstretch and what we're trying to do in class. And then if after everything is said and done, if you still have questions or you don't understand anything, just let me know. As we go along, I try to give as many options as I can because everyone is different. So Kinstretch is about basically learning about your joints and how to work with your joints in particular. Actually, Roberta asked a really great question, and she said, is it okay if you're not flexible? And I said, and she asked if there were levels to it. And actually, that's a really great question, because actually there is no levels, and that's what I love about Kinstretch, is that I can have a super bendy person taking with a person who is not. And someone who is very aware of their body and someone who's not, because basically what we're doing here is we're learning about joint care independent of any set patterns, any set exercise, and we're learning how to take our joints and not only make sure that they're functioning correctly and that they're healthy, but also that we have motor control or body control. So if you were to take a class for the first time, if you were doing this kind of work, if you were taking this kind of class, you would actually be able to take a class for the first time and know enough about your joints and know enough about your ranges and have enough strength and mobility, which is flexibility with strength and control, to be able to attempt that class and actually get a lot out of it. And that's why I really think it marries really well with Pilates. So I use mobility when someone doesn't have certain ranges or capacities or the ability to control or strengthen something. I use it so that they can access their Pilates session or exercises or whatever, so they can do everything else better. So a few things. People always ask, am I doing it right? Is this the correct position? Honestly, there is no correct or right. There's an ideal that we're going to be working for. So Mara is going to look completely different from all of you, and all of you should look completely different from each other, and that's how it should be. So when we're going through the exercises, I want you to think about just a couple things. I want you to think about what is the intent that we're working for. So I should communicate to you very clearly what we're trying to do. Then the second thing is I want you to think about is, what am I feeling? So there is no right, there is no wrong. Look, is this the correct position? Well, if you're doing the intent, so if we're trying to rotate our shoulder a certain way without moving other stuff, if you're doing that intent and you don't have any pain, or if you do have pain, you need to make an adjustment, maybe you're too far at the end of your range, then that's something that you're listening to your body and you make an accommodation for it. Now, obviously, if you're in class, I'd be able to communicate better options. I will try to give you options, but just try your best. Maybe just back off a little bit and don't go as deep into that end range that you're working on. So that leads me to the next thing that we have to be aware of is closing ankle joint pain. And that's pain is if you are moving a joint, there's always an opening angle and a closing angle. So if I were to move my ear into bring my neck into a lateral bend, this side here on my joint is the closing angle, and this here is the opening angle. If you have any closing angle joint pain at all, any of these exercises, please back off. It doesn't mean don't do the exercise, it just means you need to back off a little bit. You don't have that end range. I can go more into detail if you really want to know about that, but basically, structurally, things should adjust in your body. There's always a tension that happens in your body, a pushing and a pulling action that happens in your body, and the tissue should adjust. That should not happen. So we want to not have any closing angle joint pain. And then the other thing is, if you do, what are your options? Back off a little bit. So it doesn't mean, let's say we're going to be starting with neck cars or neck controlled articular rotations. If you get to a point where you feel, oh, there's a pinch, it doesn't mean now skip this whole area. It just means when you get to that certain section, if it's just here, then you're gonna maybe back off, maybe not go as deep. And then I want you to try to continue the full rotation as much as you can. So again, if you run into any I don't know if this is right, what is the intent and what is your body telling you? And the last thing is irradiation. So if everyone just, some of you already know irradiation, but if everyone, all of you just lift your arm up kind of floppy, right? You're not getting anything out of it, right? But now let's engage just like the hand and maybe the forearm. And now you're getting a little bit more out of it, right? We're getting a little bit more tissue engagement, but you're not really feeling anything in your elbow, which this is an elbow movement, right? Okay, so now I want you to engage your biceps, your forearm, your fist, maybe even your shoulders. Now I want you to feel like you're pulling up 25 pounds. Now you're getting a lot more tissue engagement, and you're going to actually make more adaptations because you're connecting more with your shoulder. Now engage your whole body. Engage your abs, even engage your legs. All right, now try to lift that 25-pound weight. You're actually getting a lot warmer, and I'm actually feeling my elbow joint moving. So that's the whole point of irradiation. Also, the likelihood of not stabilizing all areas, right? We're not going to be moving our shoulder around. If I'm just engaging everything and I'm only trying to move this joint, by irradiating tension, I've now stabilized the rest of my body. So that's the whole theory about irradiating tension. So we'll get started. So we're going to actually start in child's pose first. And I always like to start with breathing to get our body situated. So you don't have to look at me. Get into child's pose as best as you can. If child's pose is an option, you can always stick your booty under your block under your booty if you're not comfortable with being on your knees. But really, I want you to try to bring your rib cage and your chest down onto your thighs and reach your arms as far away as possible from you. And you'll notice that since the ribs and the abs are lying on the thighs, you're going to have to take your breath work into the side and back. And that's actually what we're going to be focusing on. So you're going to be breathing into the side and back of your rib cage as you take a big inhale, expanding the ribs out to the side and back. And then exhale, drawing the ribs down and together and making that exhale as long as your inhale. And now we're going to go again. Big inhale into the side and back of the rib cage. Now, as you exhale, drawing the ribs down and together and also trying to lift the abs up off of the thighs without actually moving any bones except for the ribs that are moving. And now I want you to extend your inhale 1 count. Inhale into the side and ribs if you can, or go for a half count if you can't get a full count. And then exhale, drawing the ribs down and together and feeling the abs lifting up off the thighs. And then one more. See if you can extend that inhale, exhale, one more count. Maybe 7 counts, maybe 8 counts. As far as you can without holding your breath. And then exhale. Drawing the ribs down and together. And then trying to lift the thighs up off the thighs. The abs up off the thighs. Okay, so now we're going to keep our booty dropped on our block or our heel, whatever it is. And we're going to lift the shoulders and the chest higher than the hips. So basically, that's good, right there. So basically, you're kind of like on an elevated child's pose or a collapsed quadruped position. As much as possible, try to keep your sit bones. I'm using a stick so that I'm not touching her. So we're going to bring the sit bones down towards the block, but extend the spine. All right, so hang on. So what we're trying to do here is thoracic segmented cat-cows. We tend to lump our vertebrae into one big thing, but we actually have a lot of different bones in here, and so that's what we're working on, okay? So we're going to keep our lower back out of it, and she's going to try, right at the lowest thoracic, one segment at a time, she's going to try to flex each vertebrae into a cat back. Good. See, do you like the stitch? And then all the way through to the top, and then she's going to go chin to the chest. Good, let it go into flexion. Now, she's going to stay there. We don't want the head just drop down. We're actually trying to flex the vertebrae here, which is a difference. Take a big inhale there. Now start at that low thoracic, not your butt. Extending one vertebrae at a time. Keep going right here, right here, right here. Good. Now, even though you start trickling up the spine, it doesn't mean you stop extending that lowest thoracic vertebrae all the way up. Now, when we get to the scapula area, I want you to think about pulling the mat or floor towards you, and you're pulling your chest forward, and you're going to go up, 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 and like I said with Sasha, thinking of the chest, the spine, and chest and head up the top of a roller coaster, and she's going to stay there. She takes a big inhale. And starting at that low thoracic, one vertebrae at a time. Now, if you're not going at the same speed as Mara, that is totally fine. Do your own pace, but make sure that you're segmenting through each vertebrae. Now, when we get to the scapula area, this is where we push the floor away because you're trying to push your spine through. And remember not to drop your head, but you're going to round the neck. Go ahead and bring it chin to the chest. Good. When you get to the end of your cow, or cat, stay there and extend that lowest vertebrae. Now, keep pushing the mat away because you're not extending your upper back yet. You're in your low thoracic. Once you get to the scapula area, that's when we start pulling our spine through our chest, chest through, past the arms, and up that big roller coaster. Good. You're going to take a big inhale once you've extended that whole thoracic and neck, and take an inhale there, and let's reverse again. So we're going to pull that lowest thoracic. Good. More, see if next time we can do a little less lumbar. Keep going now. One vertebrae at a time. Imagine I'm taking this stick and you're pushing this stick away with each of your vertebrae. Remember when you get to the scapula area to round the upper back, chin to the chest. All right, so on this last set, really try to keep your sit bones snug on your block/heels and extend the spine one vertebrae at a time. Now keep the booty down. That's your lumbar. We're trying to work thoracic. I know it's really hard for some of you to find. That's okay, don't worry about it. Just try. Remember, it's about the intent and listening to your body. Good. When you get to the end of your extension, take a big inhale. Good, and then exhale. Keep that sit bone drop. So we're just doing, yeah, that's better, Mara. Good. She's continuing to pull her chest forward, even though she's rounding this lower area as she works through each vertebrae. When you get to the end of your flexion, take another big inhale. Good, working through. Good, and then getting through the neck, chin to the chest at the end. You should be feeling kind of everything working by now, and then relax. So we're going to come to an upright kneeling position. A couple options if you don't feel comfortable kneeling on whatever surface that you're on. You can kneel on your blocks. That's one option, or a towel, or obviously you could roll your mat and roll it under your knees, but whatever is, remember, we're listening to our body, whatever your body needs. And we're gonna take one block and hug it. If you don't have a block, you're gonna take your arms and you're gonna give yourself a nice hug. If you don't have a block, okay? Now the reason for this is we're gonna create tension, so make sure that you're holding the block like this. Okay, and then you're gonna hug one arm on top. All right. So the reason for the block is up there. Thank you, Mara. So the reason for the block is so that you're radiating tension. Remember we talked about stabilizing all the other parts. We're working neck. And so tends to happen is we get really loose in this upper thoracic area, and I want you to squeeze this guy so you can't move that around. So you're going to start by bringing the chin to the chest. Should the chin touch the chest? Yes, ideally. Now you're going to keep your chin on your chest, and you're going to rotate your chin towards your right shoulder. And then once you can't go any further, you're going to bring your right ear behind your right shoulder blade. And now you're going to lift your chin up and over and draw a line on the ceiling. Here's where I really want you to squeeze your block. And you're going to bring your chin to your other shoulder. Then onto the clavicle. Keep tracing the clavicle through center and keep going the same direction. We want to try to move in a continuous, smooth movement. Try not to skip any points, but do be careful of those closing angle joint pain. If you have a pinching on that closing angle, please listen to your body. Don't push through that. Skip that tiny little area and see how much more of the area you can do. We're going to do another round. Again, you do not have to be timed with Mara. We're just doing a neck bar here, dropping the ear behind the shoulder, trying to lift the chin, but squeezing the block so that you're not arching the spine. Then rotating the chin to the opposite shoulder. And then dropping the chin down onto the chest, back to center. And we're going to reverse after you've done 3. See, listen to your body, see what it's telling you. Is it telling you you're having closing angle joint pain? Is it telling you that it needs to be stretched more? Chin to the chest, good. So we're doing 3 in the other direction. If you haven't reversed, go ahead and do it now. We're doing 3. Rotate the chin onto the chest to the opposite shoulder. Drop the ear behind the shoulder blade. Lift the chin up and over. And to the other ear behind the other shoulder. Then chin towards the chest. Trace the clavicle. How much of your neck can you stay in flexion even as you rotate? How much of your rotation can you sustain while you're flexing? Here we're just doing easy breathing, but a radiating tension. So I shouldn't be able to move Mara. I should have a little bit of tension. Once you're done, we're going to go ahead and extend the arms. We're going to put the block, same position, between the palms of the hands. Okay, if you don't have blocks, what are you going to do? You're going to make a fist. Okay? So that there's tension through your arm. So if I tried to touch your arm, I would meet resistance. Try to keep the block on this same level, or your arms on this same level, and she's going to bring her shoulder blades up towards her ears. Good, try not to lift the arm too much. And then pull the shoulder blades back, back and down and forward, forward and up. And now we're going to make it smooth. So we're going to get to those points, but we're going to smoothly transition. So up and back and down and forward, more forward, forward and up, stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up, and now pull back, but stay up, stay up, stay up, and pull down and go forward. We're going to go one more round once we hit the top here, forward and up. Try not to move the spine too much, and now reverse. So forward and down, big smooth movement, down and back. Try to make them touch back here all the way up to the ear, but still pinching your shoulder blades up and forward. Can this circle be bigger? Can you make this circle bigger without changing any of your spine position? Try. All the way, touch them in the back. Keep the shoulder blades touching. So Mara's going to keep the shoulder blades touching a little bit longer next round. Shoulder blades down and back. Now, once they touch in the back, try to keep them touching as they go up, 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 up. Good, and then just draw the shoulder blades down. Yeah, good. Okay, we're not done. So we're going to go ahead and put the block down. If you have balls, you're gonna go ahead and grab one. Actually, yeah, we can grab both. Might as well have them ready. All right, we'll grab both balls. If you don't, make a fist. Always just make a fist. All right, and we're gonna bring the left hand down onto the thigh. Okay, and we're gonna work with our right arm. Okay, we're doing elbows. How many times do you rotate your elbows? Not very often, right? But we actually, this is a pull-up. If you don't have internal rotation, not gonna have great pull-ups. It's gonna trickle up the spine. Same thing for this. This is also like a chin-up. All right, so we're gonna try to keep this, actually, Mara, can you turn that way? Yeah. So we're gonna try to keep this part of her arm facing you guys. You guys can watch this if you want, or you can try. So she's gonna try just to turn her palms to thumb as far as she can. So you notice that her thumb doesn't get all the way in, so versus mine, how it comes all the way in. So that is something she would have to know. And then now try to do the opposite, turn it out. Turn it in without moving this part of your arm right here, and turn it out. And turn it in, and turn it out. Okay, now go halfway, like a halfway bend, so like 90 degrees. All right, and we'll do the same thing. Again, keep this still. You could even put your finger there if you'd like, and then turn it in, and turn it out. Turn it in. Now, you should be moving like you're moving through mud, and turn it out. And turn it in, and turn it out. Now, try to go all the way, try to touch your shoulder, and do it up here now. Turn it in, much harder, turn it out, turn it in. Keep squeezing my ball here, keep squeezing it, turn it out. All right, we're gonna move now. So you're gonna turn it in, keep turned in as you push it down. Stay down, don't move this, externally rotate, pull that 25-pound weight up. Notice she's shaking because she's really trying to create muscle tension through that whole arm. Turn it in, push it down. Good. Keep turning it in as you push it down. Turn it out, pull it up, and we're gonna stay turned out, and we're gonna reverse it. So you're gonna stay externally rotated and push it down. Good, keep that there, turn it in. So she's gonna try to rotate without moving. Good, and now pull it up. She's trying to internally rotate more as she comes up. Don't settle for what your body gives you right away. Externally rotate. Try to externally rotate more as you push it down. Internally rotate. Now try to keep internally rotating as you come up. All right, those are your elbow cars. So we're gonna switch, so bring that arm straight down, and we're gonna do the other side, and we're gonna do the axials first, just so we can kind of get used to moving our elbow without the rest of our arm. So keeping the arm here, that elbow pit forward, and we're going to turn it in. Oh, this one's even more less. Oh my goodness, and turn it. We just discovered something about Mara. Turn it in. Oh my. And turn it out. Yeah, we would want that thumb to at least get a little bit more. Turn it in. Come on. Okay, so we would have, that's a little bit better, but we would have work to do. And turn it out. All right, bend. And turn it in. Good. And turn it out. Keep going. So because she has this limitation, Kinstretch or joint-specific work that we do with functional range conditioning could actually make a tissue adaptation so that she could get that range. Okay, we're going to do it a little bit higher. Good. There's specific exercises that we would give her to create that. Maybe it's not necessary for her, but if she uses this arm for fencing, does she? I don't know. Well, see, there she does. She would want this, right? Because it's going to inhibit certain movements or elements that she does, and then that means that something else is going to have to do that work. Okay, so let's do the full car. So we're going to stay, we're going to stay up. I started it this way. So we're going to turn it in, press it down, stay pressed, stay pressing in. Okay, externally rotate at the bottom, don't move that arm, and pull it up. So watch out for compensations up the arm, rotate in, push it down, stay rotating down, stay rotating in, and turn it out. So keep rotating even though you're moving. All right, stay rotated out, press it back down. We're reversing. Externally rotate, internally rotate at the bottom. Good, oh, don't move that arm. So she compensated there because she doesn't have it. It's okay. And pull it up. Good, externally rotate. Yeah, good. Whoop. and press it down. And now watch the internal rotation here. There you go. So she's got to work with what she's got. Okay, you can either stay kneeling for wrists or you can sit, but we're going to go to wrists. So, you want to stay kneeling?
Let's take a block.
Okay, she's going to take a block and she's going to sit. This is wrists, so don't worry about your body position, except that we want to be able to keep tension in our spine. So, we're going to do wrists at the same time, and we're going to do the harder one, because we might as well. All right, so if you're doing a lot of computer work or typing, this is really good. So we're going to start with the palms up, elbows glued to your side, 90 degrees here at the elbow, and we're going to try to keep this bone, this bone really still. Careful of this swishing around. So we're going to bring the balls to our forearms. We're going to go thumbs, pinky side in without moving the forearm, both of them. This one too. Oh, that's it. Okay, sorry, she wasn't moving it. And stay pinky side in as you press into back of the hand to the forearm. So we're making a circle. Then thumb side. Then all the way up, ball to the forearm, or fist to the forearm. Then pinky side. Go at your own speed, but keep an eye on those forearms. You don't want that wrist bone to be moving around. Good. So that one's moving over there. There you go. And flex back of the hand to the forearm. Remember to go at your own speed. Keep a radiating tension through your spine and your body, so we're getting maximum tissue engagement, but also so that we're not compensating. And then reverse after you've done 3. So really keep an eye on those bones. Yeah. We tend to couple this a lot with elbow stuff and then reverse. So you're going to go thumb side, back of the hand to the forearm, pinky side, Mara's shaking, and then all the way up to all that typing you do. And get good. Very nice. Much better. Back of the hand. You can work back of the hand a little bit more next round. See if this round you can make it a little bit bigger. If you've already finished, go ahead. That's fine. Good. Shake, shake, shake. If you're shaking, that's good. You're really engaging tissue. Okay, good. So she's finished her 3. And so now we're going to go on to our elbows and our knees. Okay, so let's go sideways. Doesn't matter which way you face. You can face either way.
We're in what position?
Elbows and knees.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. We're going to take one block and we're going to hold it landscape between the forearms and hands. And actually, taking the second level like this is really good because you're going to put your forehead on there. If you don't have a block, just put your head down on the floor if it's comfortable or whatever's comfortable. So we did thoracic cat-cows, right? So that means that we didn't do lumbar yet. So here's the thing, is I want as much as possible not to have any movement in your thoracic spine. We're going to just do lumbar. So what we're going to do is she's going to draw tailbone, sit bone towards her knees, and she's going to try to only round her lumbar area. So we don't want to round too much up here. And, oh wait, don't come out of it yet. More, right here, right here, right here. When you get to the end, take a big inhale and feel as if I'm trying to push you out of flexion. Ceiling's coming down. You gotta hold that ceiling up with your lower back. Now, keep the highest point in your lumbar in flexion as you start to reach the tailbone, sit bone, up towards the ceiling. Sacrum will follow. Trust me, this guy here is gonna try to go right away. Try not to. Right where the lumbar, and keep going, Mara, there's more in here. Keep going, Mara. Tailbone to the ceiling, come on, tailbone to the ceiling, keep going. You're gonna go all the way to the end, and then when you think you've reached the end, I want you to reach more, and take a big inhale, more, and reverse. Tailbone, sit bone, towards the knees, sacrum follows, 1 vertebrae at a time. 5 vertebrae flexing, lumbar flexing up. Now, feel like I'm trying to push you out of lumbar flexion. I see a lot of lumbars that could reach up towards the ceiling more. Flex those guys up. Take a big inhale and reverse. Keep the lumbar in flexion as the tailbone, sit bone, sacrum starts to arch up that roller coaster, the other end of the roller coaster. That's better, Mara. Good. When you get to the end, give me 1 more centimeter, 1 more inch, and take a big inhale. And reverse again. Keep that lumbar in extension. Tailbone, sit bone, sacrum follows. Then 1, 5 vertebrae, one at a time, flexing up. Mara's shaking. That's awesome. She's probably getting a lot of abs working too, besides just spine. When you get to the end of your flexion, hold even tighter. Give me 1 more inch. Feel as if I'm pushing you down. And keep that lumbar in flexion as you go. Tailbone, sit bone, sacrum follows, arching up towards the ceiling. Good. When you get to the end, you're going to give me 1 more centimeter, 1 more inch, and take a big inhale. I'm just going to come and peek at the screens real quick. Little more. Christine, come on, give me a little more flexion there. Yeah. And then reverse. I think we got 1 more. Minimize the movement in their thoracic. And try not to, Roberta, try not to round your thoracic so much. A little less thoracic. Bring your ribs down towards the mat. And 1 more cat for everybody. Now I want everyone to give me their best cat, and I want you to feel like the ceiling's collapsing down on you, and hold that nice and tight before you reverse out of it. Tailbone, sit bone, sacrum follows. Alright, so we're going to stay down here, and we're going to do some hip axials, and if you want to watch this at first, you can. You're going to make sure that this knee is directly under your hips, which most of you are, and she's going to bend her right knee, okay? Now, we want this bone to stay here. We're going to be doing hip axials, so she's going to internally rotate inside of this hip socket as far as she can. When she gets to the end, she's going to feel she's going to be trying to push so much that if I try to push on her, I get nice resistance. Then externally rotate, so now this knee is not moving. Notice that the thigh bone is staying there. She's going to try to rotate. You're going to go over your leg. Yeah. And then she's going to try to touch the other thigh and hold that nice and tight so I can't move her out. Okay? So we're going to do 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So go ahead and get into position with your knee stacked right underneath your hip, and then find a nice neutral position. So neutral is not a little bit of a lower back arch, but not so that the ribs are just hanging out, okay? So the ribs are lifted up, but Mara, can I get a little more tailbone? Yeah, that's perfect, good. Okay, so we're trying now radiating tension through the arms, through the spine, so that we don't move anything, and we're just gonna move the hips. So internally rotate, good. When you get to the end, try to hold 5, 4, I'm going to give her a little push, 3, excellent, 2. Now, externally rotate, try to touch your other thigh. Don't move your booty, and hold that tension for 5, 4, 3, 2. Internally rotate. Now you're just breathing as needed. Maybe you like to inhale, and then exhale, hold tension, 5, 4, excellent, 3, 2, and then externally rotate. Try to touch the other thigh. Try to do a check on your booty. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and internally rotate. Try to give me a little bit more and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and externally rotate. Good. Try to fight for more and hold 5. A little more here. 4, 3, 2, and internally rotate. 2 more. Give me an extra little inch and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and externally rotate. A little bit more here. Good. Tight abs. Hold 5, 4, 3, 1 more set, and internally rotate. Minimize any other movement. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and you should be giving a little bit of shake at the end because you're really trying to max it out. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and return it back to behind the knee and put it down. And we'll do the other side. All right, take an inhale, prepare the spine, radiate tension through the arms, through the spine, a little more tailbone, just a smidge, good. And bend that knee so you have room, and keep that bone right there. Internally rotate, so away from the other leg. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and externally rotate. Good. Fight for more. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2. Now try not to move the rest of the spine. Internally rotate. Hold. 5, 4, a little bit more. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And externally rotate. Try not to move the booty. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. And internally rotate. Good. Fight for more. Feel as if someone's trying to push you out of it, like I'm doing with Mara. 3, 2, 1. And externally rotate. Good. Don't let the booty move to the side. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. And internally rotate. Good. Hold. A little stronger. Good. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. And try to find more. Once you get there, find more. 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 Hold. 5, 4. Check your spine. Make sure you're not moving it around. One more each direction. I'm going to try to take a peek here. Internally rotate. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And externally rotate. Good. Hold. Squeeze it out. Try to reach for more. 3, 2, 1. And relax. Good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some hip cars. And we're going to challenge ourselves. Normally I do this standing, but you guys are good enough. We're going to do it. Quadruped. Now, a couple options for quadruped. If you have wrist issues, which the wrist cars would have told you you do, you could put your hands on the blocks or elbows on the blocks. But if you can, or you could even roll up your mat so that you're like this, more at a less flex angle. Okay, so go ahead and choose a quadruped position that works best for you, and find that neutral pelvis. So a little bit more here. Yeah, good. So remember, a little bit of a lower back arch. Rib cage is lifted, but you're not round. And tension through the arms and the spine. So hip cars. If you want to, actually, if you want to watch real quick, for some of you who haven't done it, or you can go ahead and jump in with Mara if you know these. You're going to bring your knee towards your chest without rounding the spine. We're going to press to abduction. She's going to keep abduction as she internally rotates. Then she's going to continue internal rotation as she comes into extension. Oop, no, just like that. Yep. Try to touch the heel to the booty. And then she's going to slide it back forward. And we're going to do another round, but she's going to show the reverse real quick. So reverse is booty to heel to the booty. Knee reaches straight back. Try not to arch. Abduct both the foot and knee. Oh, and the foot. And the foot. Yep, good. Now stay there. She's going to externally rotate. Try to bring the knee towards the armpit. So we want to try to minimize any movement there. And then she's going to go into hip flexion and then down. Yeah? We're going to actually do, we'll actually do it like that. We'll do the 3 tick-tock, just like she did, okay? So, get into your preferred quadruped position. Imagine that you're poured in concrete right now, and the only thing that you can move is this hip socket. Ready? Take an inhale, radiate tension through your body, through your arms, and bring the right knee to flexion. Stay in flexion as you abduct that thigh. Keep abducting that thigh out to the side and internally rotate, heel towards the ceiling. Try not to let the knee drop down. And we're going to go heel to the booty, into hip extension, knee to knee, knee to the other, yeah, good. And then she's going to touch, and then reverse, and straight up into hip extension. Abduct both the foot and knee, oh, yeah. And then externally rotate, try to bring the knee towards the armpit. Try not to round the spine, come into hip flexion, knee to the chest, touch the knee back underneath the hip, and again. Hip flexion, stay in hip flexion, abduction, stay abducted, internally rotate, bring the heel to the booty. You're reaching the thigh up, but trying not to arch. And then hip flexes, straight back. Hip extension, heel to the butt, thigh in. Now, whoop, foot and thigh, then externally rotate, bring the hip to hip flexion, thigh to the chest, touch the knee back down. One more, hip flexion, abduction. Stay abducting as you internally rotate, heel to the booty, thigh up to the ceiling, touch the knee, re-engage the lower back, hip extension, abduct with the foot and thigh, yeah, now externally rotate, knee to the armpit, hip flexion, thigh to the chest, and put it back down. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's your hip rotation. All right, she's gonna spin around. She's such a pro. She's spinning around for me. I don't even have to ask her. All right, so get into a nice quadruped position, re-engage, because trust me, stuff moves around even with your best intentions. Find that neutral spine, a little bit more here. That's it, perfect, good. And here we go, engage the abs and hip flexion, abduction, stay abducted, internally rotate. Oh, she doesn't like this side as much. And all the way to hip extension, make sure it's behind you, not out to the side, and touch the knee. Good. Yeah, touch the knee, good. Re-engage the lower back. Thigh up to the ceiling. Now foot and knee together, out, abduct. Now externally rotate, bring the knee to the armpit. Good, try not to round as you bring the knee up to the chest and touch. Re-engage, inhale, and radiate tension. Knee, abduct, keep abducting as you internally rotate. Now notice she's going in a nice, smooth, continuous movement. We want to try and touch. Just like our joints are a smooth, or they should be a smooth surface, that's the same kind of intent that we're working with here. Externally rotate, knee to the armpit, hip flexion, and bring it back underneath your hip. Again, last round, hip flexion, abduct, keep abducting as you internally rotate, keep internally rotating into hip extension, keep going, Mara, good, and knee touches, re-engage the lower back, hip extension, good, abduct, externally rotate, try not to shift your whole body off to the side, hip flexion, good, and bring it back underneath you. Okay, we're gonna sit down, and you guys can face the screen if you'd like. We're gonna sit, we're gonna do our knee cars. Yeah, okay, good. So maybe I will do a little close-up here.
Yeah.
So knee cars, we don't wanna be moving this bone here. Get to see my legs. Right here, okay, this bone is the only bone that's gonna be moving. We're not gonna move this, okay? So if you wanna just put your heel on the floor, yeah, it doesn't matter what you're doing with the other leg, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're gonna do a couple of those axials that we did with the elbows. So we're just gonna try to just move that. Now I'm not moving my thigh at all. I'm just moving my knee. Yes, my ankle is shifting a little bit, but I'm really creating the effort from here. All right, so Mara's gonna show the hold that I like with the right, same arm as leg underneath the knee. And then trying to grab the bicep. Sorry if I'm in the way. Try to grab the bicep and then bring that other hand to, I don't want to touch you. Bring that hand to that top of the thigh there. Yeah, good. So she's just kind of doing like a headlock with it to minimize any desires for that part of her leg to move. And we're going to go ahead and just try to go right into knee cars, okay? Again, remember, it's about the intent, so just try your best. She's going to internally rotate this bone only, other way. And then stay internally rotated, extend the knee only about 3/4 of the way. Yeah. You could go a little more. Yeah, and then externally rotate at the top and pull the heel back to the floor. Internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, pull it back to the floor. One more round. Internally rotate, extend, externally rotate. She's shaking. And stay externally rotated and go back in reverse. Extended external rotation, internal rotation at the top, and pull it in. Externally rotate. So she's doing a really nice job. Go ahead and keep going. Of not moving her upper thigh. Her body is shaking a lot. And then externally rotate and extend and internally rotating. Yes, good. And pull it in. All right. Good. Switch. So we'll do a couple of those axials. Just kind of talk to your knee, because you may not have talked to your knee before. And just notice, can you rotate that bone without moving the thigh bone? All right. And if you have any inhibitions, there are ways to improve it. So now we're going to go ahead and internally rotate. Oh, did you do your headlock? So it's the same arm as the leg underneath. Grab the bicep. Take that other arm and put it on top. If you don't get it, it's okay. So internally rotate, extend. Good. Stay internally rotate and externally rotate and pull it in. Internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, and pull it down. One more, internally rotate, extend, externally rotate, pull it to the floor. Now, stay externally rotated, press it back out. We're reversing, internally rotate, pull it down. So notice I'm saying externally rotate. I want you to push it up. No floppiness, internally rotate, pull it down. And externally rotate, press it up, internally rotate, and pull it down. And now we're going to go to ankles. If you have a block, put the block underneath the lower part of your calf. I got it, don't worry. If not, just extend your leg in front of you. Anytime you do ankle cars, it's easier with your legs straight because you have less ability to move that leg around. But you still have to make sure that that this whole leg and lower leg don't move. Okay, so now she's going to flex all 5 toes up, and she's going to try to go pinky side first. Oh, don't move this, guys. And then down. It's okay if your toes don't point, or if you want to point your toes, you can. Then big toe in, and then flex. Remember, we're trying to make a circle. Now, if your circle is bumpy and you're getting bumps in the road as you circle, yeah, we don't want you. That's something you want to work on. You want to have a smooth motion in these ankle cars. And she's going to do one more round before she reverses. Yeah, good. And the toes are optional. You could try it with the toes flexed sometimes, or adding the toes. It's all another way of feeding your central nervous system. Oh, we reversed. Another way of moving the ankle joint. Good. If you notice that certain areas are tighter or you have more compensation, those are just things that you could think about addressing. And one more round, so we're doing 3 on each side. Good. And feel like you're pushing that thick mud around, or you're pushing 25-pound weights around. All right, and then you're going to switch. Go ahead and switch the block, or if you don't have a block, switch legs and extend. Okay, and we'll repeat. So we're going to go pinky side, then pinky side down, stay down, big toe side, and flex up. 3 smooth, continuous circles, almost like it's one movement instead of 3 circles. Still a radiating tension, so we're not loosey-goosey in the rest of our body. The rest of our body's engaged, including our abs and our spine and our legs. When you've done 3, go ahead and reverse. Remember, you don't have to stay with Mara. Good. She definitely likes this side better. You can tell that it's smoother and a lot more controlled. Good. Very nice. Okay, I can't believe we're already so close. Okay, so now we're going to do our toe cars in a kneeling position, in a half kneeling position. This is where you might want to double up your mat or put your knee on a block. Let's see, Mara, can I have you face sideways, and we're going to do, we're going to be doing toe cars, but they won't be able to see it. I'll show it up there. So get into your half kneeling position, and we're actually going to be doing some toe cars with this front leg. You probably can't see her, so I'll try to do a close-up here. But anyways, these cars are available on my website if you can't see them. So we're going to start with all 5 toes down. This is where it gets a lot of fun. All right, here we go. We're going to try to lift all 5 toes up, but keep the ball of the foot down. Okay, and only press the big toe down. Keep the little toes up and all the way up. Now we're trying to create tension through our body still, so we're not floppy. And back up. And one more time, big toe down, little toes stay up. All right, let's reverse that. So before we do that, we're going to spread the toes away from each other as much as possible. And then piano play each toe down. The big toe's going to finish. And then reverse. Big toe, little toes one at a time. Expand first, so try to spread them out, then piano play them down. All right, and then big toe, piano play them up. She doesn't like the reverse. And then one more time, spread, pinky side down first to the big toe, and then little toes up. All right, now we're going to try to, take that off my screen real quick. Hang on, sorry. Okay, and now we're going to have all 5 toes down. Lifting the big toe only. This is where it gets a lot of fun. And down. Big toe up. This is where I see people go, oh, my big toe's not moving. And down. And one more time, big toe up. And down. Now big toe stays down, little toes up. Don't worry, you don't have to piano play them up. And down. Big toe stays down, little toes up. And down. And one more time. And down. And now we're going to do our little switcheroos. We're going to do big toe up, little toes stay down, and then switch. Big toe down, little toes up. Big toe up, little toes down. Big toe down, little toes up. Try not to move your ankle like Mara did. And little toes down, big toe up. And last one, big toe down, little toes up.
Wow.
Yeah. Do we have thumbs up on those or thumbs down or so-so? All right, good. Oh, we're not done. Mara, stay there. Yeah. Okay, so same leg forward. We're still in our half kneeling position. And we're actually going to start with a little bit of hip extension stuff now. So the first thing that we're going to do, yeah, you can put a knee or double up. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is what we call kinetic stretching. So we're trying to find our stretch, but using our muscles to do it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to feel like you're, instead of just lunging and going, hip flexor stretch, what you're going to do, oh wow, nice, okay. What you're going to do instead is you're going to feel as if you're kicking your thigh back and tucking your hips under and making that hip extension stretch by engaging all of this stuff. It means you probably don't go very far. And now I want you to do the opposite because we have to train both sides of the joint. So now you're going to feel like you're kicking this thigh towards your chest and almost like you're as if you're flexing your hip like this. So she's thinking about going like this. It's all about intent, remember, okay? So she's going to kick back. Yeah, feeling the stretch. Yes, Mara, you're feeling the stretch.
Sure.
Okay, so she's feeling stretch. Different for everybody. And now feel like you're kicking the mat forward like this to hip flexion. Kick back, feel the stretch. Oh yeah. Opening the hip slowly with the hip extension by engaging the muscles and then kick it forward. She's shaking, good. Kick it back. So she's irradiating tension through her body. Notice she's got her hands in a fist because she's really trying to engage. And kick it forward. All right, we're going to kick back and we're going to just stay there and relax. So now she's going to let it go. But she's going to stay in the hip extension that she found with her muscles. That is a way of not creating more range, but that's a way of getting to the hip range that you actually have very safely. And now she's going to bring the left hand straight down, or her back leg, same arm as back leg down to her thigh. Oh no, not here. Right there along her thigh. And we're doing shoulder car. So, a couple things before we go. Okay, stay here, don't move. What we're going to do here is we're going to try to get your nervous system to accept this stretch that you're in right now. 30-second stretches are just a neurological change, but they don't actually set up your body so that it can actually do something in that. It's just going to give you a temporary stretch. Here, we're going to try to get your hips to get into a hip extension, and it's called time under tension. We're trying to let your nervous system accept that this stretch and holding it for this long is actually safe, and it's called the stretch reflex, and we're going to try to override it with this time under tension. That's why I'm blabbing right now, and that's why we're going to do a shoulder car so that we can also get time under tension while we hold the stretch. But I'm going to distract you with another part of shoulder car. So you can't totally see her because her arm is on this side. We're doing this arm. Yeah. Actually, we could do this back arm. That's fine. There's no rules. We're not breaking any rules. So what we're going to do is we're going to work this arm so that one more, you can see it, and then there's another reason why, so that we can have a cross midline here. So she's going to start by externally rotating her shoulder inside this guy. As much as you can, externally rotate. Straight arm. Keep externally rotating and try to go this way. Across midline. Okay, notice that her shoulders are turning. We want to try not to minimize. We're going to try to minimize that. Keep externally rotating, going up to shoulder flexion. This is where things get different for a lot of people. Shoulder flexion is as far as you can lift towards your head without going out to the side. When you're no longer have any shoulder extension, you're going to internally rotate and start circling the arm back and internally rotate. More internal rotation, please. Thank you. Yes, keep internally rotating. She's reaching towards shoulder extension. More internal rotation, please. Good, and stop at your hip. Keep internally rotating. Keep internally rotating. Keep in. Stop right there. Make a fist for me. Good. You can either make a fist or karate chop, but I'm going to have Mara do a fist. Stay internally rotated. Reach straight back. Stay with me. Externally rotate. Keep circling the arm. Circling the arm. Don't speed up, Mara. Keep externally rotating. Externally rotating. She's going back to shoulder flexion. She's going to go across midline again. She's fighting for more external rotation. That's why she's shaking. Straight arm, Mara. Good. Straight arm, straight arm. She's going to go back to hip. She's going to find more external rotation. More external. Yes. Keep externally rotating as you reach across midline. We're doing 3 of these. Yes, you're still in hip extension. All the way to your shoulder flexion. Shoulder flexion is as far towards your head up as not going out to the side. When you max that out, internally rotate and start circling the arm back. Keep internally rotating. 2 things I want you to keep saying in your head. Circle and rotate, circle and rotate, circle and rotate, circle. More rotation, please. Rotate, 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 and stop at your hip. Reverse, reach straight back in internal rotation. When you max that out, externally rotate. Don't speed up. There's a tendency to speed through the areas that are tight or lack rotation. Keep externally rotating, circle and rotate, go across midline. Again, if you're not with Mara, that's okay, but try not to go too fast. Stop at your hips. When you're done, externally rotate a little bit more. 1 more round. Take it across midline. Go to your shoulder flexion. Max that out. When you've maxed that out, internally rotate, circle back. Stop at the hip with internal rotation, so palm facing out. And then reverse. Try to minimize any spine and shoulder movement. Straight back. Good. After you finish your shoulder car, we're going to go around to the more external rotation. Remember, circle and rotate. Those are the 2 key elements. Across midline, we're going to go to the other side. Good. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to go around to the other side.
We're going to
Switch. So half kneeling on the other side. You don't have to switch sides like Mara's doing. You just switch legs. All right, so just half kneeling to start. And we're going to do our beloved toe cars. All right, so we've got all 5 toes up with the ball of the foot down. Okay, this side this time. There we go. All right, big toe down, little toe up. The radiate tension. Big toe down, little toe up. Or sorry, big toe up, sorry. Big toe down and big toe up. Spread all 5 toes before piano playing, pinky side down first to the big toe. Then lift the big toe, then the little toes up. Spread, piano play, and big toe up. Little toes 1 at a time. Spread the toes again, little toe down, big toe down, and the big toe, and lift each little one up. All 5 toes down. Big toe up, this is where it gets fun, and big toe down. Big toe up. Try not to lift the ball of the foot and down. 1 more time, ball of the foot stays down, big toe up. As high as you can. Mara has issues with this side. We already knew that though. She's working on it, and down. All right, big toe stays down, little toes up, and down. Little toes up. And try not to shift the foot 1 more time, so don't let the foot shift. Little toes up and down. All right, so our switches, big toe up, little toes down. And big toe down, little toes up. And little toes down, but it's okay, you're not the only one, I'm telling you. And big toes down. You could try screaming at it, or you could actually do some work for it. And big toes down, little toes up. And big toes down, little toes up. All right, Mara has homework. All right, so we're doing our kinetic stretches for our hip extension before we go into our shoulder car. So remember, we're trying to kick back. So we're kicking back and tucking the hips, engaging all this stuff, radiating tension through that upper body, and then kicking the thigh forward. All right, really engage. Kick back, tuck the hips. Feel it back there. Feel that hamstring almost cramping. And kick it forward. Good, engaging here, trying to flex. And kick it back. Feel everything in the back engage in this opening here. And flex to the hip and kick it forward. Okay, there you go, good, she's kicking. And kick it back, tuck the hips. Good, and kick it forward. And then we're gonna kick back and get into our end range stretch. Now she's just gonna relax there as much as you can. All right, so remember to try to stick with it, try to stay in it. Some of you may be having this strong desire to escape. See if you can calm your nerves just a little bit, and then we'll go into our shoulder cars. All right, remember smooth, continuous movement, always fighting for more rotation as you're circling, okay? So not one or the other, trying to do both. So she's going to start by engaging the spine, stay in that hip extension stretch, and externally rotate that same arm as back leg. Externally rotate. There, she got it. Okay, so remember the biceps should be moving. Stay externally rotate as you reach across midline. Stay reaching across midline and go into your shoulder flexion. Treat this arm different. It is not the other side. When you max that out, internally rotate and start circling back and down. Try not to move the rest of the spine or the shoulder. Remember, circle and rotate. You're continuously trying to internally rotate as you circle. You're going to stop at your hips. Don't settle for that internal rotation. Reach for more as you start to go back. Max that out. When you max that out, start externally rotating and circle. Externally rotate, circle, externally rotate, circle, externally rotate, circle. Find your shoulder flexion. Go across midline. Fight for more external rotation. Stop at your hips. Round two is another set, so totally different from the first set. Maybe you can get more external rotation. Maybe you can get shoulder flexion a little bit more before you start internally rotating and circling back and down. Maybe you have to slow down. Maybe there's closing angle joint pain you might need to be aware about. Take your time with that. Then stopping at your hip and internal rotation, reach straight back. Stay internally rotate as long as possible, then start externally rotate and circle and rotate, circle and rotate, circle and rotate, circle and rotate. Reach across midline as much as you can. Those are your adductors in there. And then stopping at your hip. Re-engage your body. One last round. Externally rotate. Take it across midline. So it looks like this. And then straight up. And internally rotate as you reach back. Good. And stopping at the hip. Reach straight back. Then start externally rotating. And keep externally rotating, keep externally rotating. Going across midline. Good. And then stopping at your hip. Okay, so now that we have this nice hip extension range, what are we going to do? We're going to back it up with some exercises. So we're going to lie on our stomach without a block. Okay. It doesn't matter which leg you want to start with. It's purely preference. But Mara's going to start with her right leg because that's the closest to you. She's going to take her opposite hand as the leg she's going to be working underneath her forehead like this. So she has a little pillow to put it on. All right. And then we're going to start with the legs close together. And she's going to bend the leg and try to grab the heel. Now, if you can't grab the ankle. I meant ankle, sorry. If you can't grab your ankle, then you might want to use a towel or a belt strap. I guess I should have said that earlier, but I figured everyone should be able to touch their ankle. And you should be getting a little bit of a stretch, not quite as intense maybe as your hip, your previous hip extension stretch, but if you want to increase it, what you can do is if you round your lower back, round your back and try to tuck your hips into the mat and think about grabbing lower down on your shin, you'll probably get more of a stretch. Also try flexing that foot of that stretching leg. Excuse me. Okay, so this is basically hip extension with excuse me, deep knee flexion. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how much of this does Mara own. So what we're going to do is she's going to, at about a 50% intensity, so not like full intensity, but about 50% of her intensity, she's going to feel like you won't see anything, but she's going to try to feel like she's kicking out of this stretch. So she's feeling like this foot is kicking towards the mat, and maybe even putting a little pressure of the thigh into the mat, and she's going to hold that for 10 seconds. And then she's going to let go and see if she can bring her heel closer to her butt without her hand. She's going to hold that for 10 seconds, all right? And then she's going to re-grip. Cramping might happen. That's your neurological system saying, I don't own that range, and I've never worked like that before. It sounds like something that doesn't happen, but it does get better the more you practice this kind of work. So we're going to take an inhale. We're going to round the lower back so that we get a nice hip extension. And we're going to try to kick out of our stretch, pushing the foot towards the floor and knee into the mat as we hold for 10. Just about 50% of everything you could give. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here's where the fun starts. You're going to let go and try to bring your heel closer to your booty for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And if you're really cruel, you get a teacher pushing you out of it, and then re-grip. Take a couple breaths. Maybe you can get a deeper stretch, maybe not. Maybe you can round your lower back more. Maybe your knee can come in a little bit more so it's not out to the side. Round 2. Take an inhale, prepare the abs, and now try to kick out of it for 10, 9, 8. So she's kicking this way. 5, 4, and she's kicking into the mat. 2, and now let go and try to bring the heel closer to your booty for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, don't let me move you. 2, and re-grip. Uh-oh, she's getting a little cramp. Back off for a second, then re-grab. This is very common.
The front of me.
Oh, in the front of, oh, okay, so maybe too intense.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and re-grab. So, re-grab right here. Yeah, just not as low. All right, so she said she was feeling tension in the knee. It's that tension that is being stretched right here. A little too much. So, I just asked her to not go as intense and maybe not to go as deep. All right, so if that happens to you, that was actually good that happened. She may be able to create more force than basically her tissue can tolerate, is why that happens. So she's going to bring her knee in again. Good. And her press out will not be as intense. Okay, so take an inhale. So her 50% might be your 50%, but for her it's going to be more like 40, 30, 40. All right, so take an inhale, prepare the abs, and 50% intensity. She's going to try to kick out of it. One more round for 10. 9, is that better? 8, okay. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and now try to bring heel to the booty for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. She's going to re-grab one more time. Now I want you to do is just take 3 big inhale exhales and calm your nerves. Try to get your nervous system to accept that this is safe, that these ranges are usable, that it's safe to create force at this range, and then let it go. Good. So those were a set of positional isometrics. You want to spin?
Yeah.
Okay, she's going to spin. You guys can just stay there and relax for a second. So those are a set of positional isometrics. I call them baby Pales rails. When we actually do Pales rails, which I don't think we're going to get to today, but when we actually do Pales rails, they're actually a lot more intense than that. But because they are intense, I don't always, unless I have sufficient time and I like to build up to it, I like to use positional isometrics so you kind of know what would happen. So for Pales rails, it would be much more intense. We would be working up to 100% intensity, and we would be creating more range. Here, what we're doing is we're taking the ranges that you already own and we're creating a tissue adaptation that makes it able for you to actually use that. So Mara having that problem with, or not problem, but that tension in her knee is an indication that she can create more force than that tissue can tolerate. So if she had to be in that position for whatever reason, I don't know, you had some crazy fall and she fell like this, her tissue would not be able to tolerate that sudden force. So this is why this kind of work is beneficial. So we're going to do the other side. Go ahead and grab your ankle. Remember, each side is different from the other. Treat it differently. You have two different hips, two different types of hip extension in your body. I think she doesn't have as much tension on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. So again, each side is different. She's going to try to go for a 50% intensity when we do this side. It may not even bother her on this side. So take another inhale. We're doing 3 sets. Take an inhale. Try to round your lower back. So we're creating a little bit of more hip extension and kick out of it at 50% for 10, 9, 8, 7. She's also feeling that thigh pushing through the floor. 4, 3, and now let go and try to bring the heel toward the butt for 10, 9, 8. Feel as if someone's pulling you out of it and you're trying to keep more to and re-grip. Maybe you can get deeper, maybe not. It's okay. Take a couple breaths. Take another inhale, prepare the abs, flex the foot, and round the lower back, and try to kick for 10, 9, so she's kicking out of it, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and try to let go and bring the heel closer to the booty, more hip extension even, yes, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, re-grip, good. So we're going to do one more set. Try to make this really strict with the position. So round the lower back, engage the abs, inhale, and kick down into the mat, and also towards the floor for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, let go. Try to get more hip extension with the heel to the booty for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Remember, we're going to re-grip, so go ahead and re-grip. Good. And relax. Settle your nerves. 3 inhale exhales. Really take this time to get your nervous system to chill out. Relax. 3 big inhale exhales. This is for you, so take your time. And then slowly ease out of it. Oh boy. Yeah, you feel the front of your hips a little bit looser, I hope. All right, so I'm going to take a few more minutes because I talked a little bit in the beginning. I want to do just one more thing. So we're going to get into a 90-90 position. Mara, you could just bring your right leg forward and your left leg towards the front there. All right, 90-90 real quick. I'm not going to be super strict with this, but basically this thigh is in line with this hip, and then this foot is in line with the knee, and opposite here, this thigh is in line with her other hip, and this foot is in line with the knee, okay? So I like to do a lot of hip internal rotation. If your booty is not down, don't worry about it, all right? What I want you to do is I want everyone to start with their same arm as the front leg out to the side. So you're going to lean out to the side a little bit. So she basically is looking like this, okay? And then she's going to take her same arm hand as the back leg and put it right there, kind of where the crease is. I like to put it right at the crease. And what we're going to do is we're going to encourage our pelvis and our socket to get into hip internal rotation. So what you're going to do, so notice that she just rolled her hip backwards. That's what we're going to do. We're going to roll our booty to the floor. Okay, we want to try to get it to the floor. So I'll show the front version here. Okay, so we're here. Our hand is out to the side. We're going to roll the booty to the floor. My spine is just coming along for the ride. I don't feel anything here because I work in internal rotation a lot, and then pull it back. All right, so you're rolling the pelvis to hip internal rotation by moving the pelvis, right? Because the thigh bone isn't moving. We're moving the pelvis to find internal rotation. Okay, if you don't feel anything, get a little bit more upright. Rotate the pelvis, booty to the floor, and then rotate it back. You're just easing into it. Rotate this sit bone, rotate it to the floor. I want you to try to get that booty down. Now notice I can be completely upright. If you can be completely upright, go for it. So you can just bring your hands together like this, roll the booty forward, roll the booty all the way down. My spine moves because my pelvis is moving. And we're gonna do that a couple more times. Find your position that works for you. So Christine, hands out more. Yeah, lean it out more. Lean your shoulders away from it more. Good, now try to get your booty down as you rotate. Yeah, okay? And then we're gonna stay in our rotation. Now, if you're here and you feel a stretch, leave your hand here. If you're upright and your hands are free, you can put your hands, same arm as front leg on the front leg, and same arm as back leg on the back leg, or if you're even more rotated. So number one thing is booty down. Okay, if your booty's not down, you gotta accommodate for booty down. If you're even more than that, I'm more of a same arm, front leg on my back leg. I'm really down. I'm actually leaning into it. All right? Okay. So Mara has chosen the front arm, front leg position. And we're just going to stay here and breathe. So you should be feeling a stretch in this capsule here. It's like so deep that you're like, it's somewhere in here. That's what we're going for. All right, and we're just gonna do one positional isometric, and then we're gonna do the other side real quick and then finish. So one positional isometric. So right now we're in an internal rotation, right? So what she's gonna try to do is, you're not gonna say anything, but she's gonna try to create this motion, external rotation, with this back leg, okay? So she's gonna externally rotate at about 50% intensity. She's gonna hold that for 10. Nice. So she's driving this heel into the floor. She's even driving the knee into the floor, even though she's imagining this foot coming this way. And now I want her to try to internally rotate so much, so she's going to rotate this thigh this way and try to lift her leg to my hand. Oh, I know it doesn't go. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Don't let your booty leave. 4, 3, and then relax. Oh, see if you can find a little bit more. Okay, well, as her butt sits down more, all right? And then we're going to switch. So Mara's gonna show a fancy switch. I say try it, just go for it. So she's gonna externally rotate this leg. So she's gonna try to keep this leg here. Yeah, keep going. She's gonna keep externally rotating this guy towards the floor. So coming here. Yep, she's gonna try to keep this one here. All right, now she's driving this thigh. She's trying to not let this one collapse in. Slowly turning her pelvis to face this way. And then we end in a 90-90 position. It may not be an ideal position, so when she gets there, she's gonna fix it. All right, that was just for fun. All right, this is our last one. So thigh, knee in line with that back one. Turn your hips a little bit more, Mara. Good, bring this foot in. All right, so thigh in line with hip, knee in line with knee, and then kick that arm out to the side. Bring your right hand to your crease. So turn straight forward for me, Mara. Good, and then she's going to try to drop the booty down, and then if her spine rotates because her pelvis rotates, then that's what happens. And then she's gonna rotate it back. Then she's gonna sink the booty down. We're just gonna do that a few times, all right? You adjust your hand closer to you or totally upright depending on your rotation in your pelvis. Try to keep increasing it. So Mara, go ahead and just bring your, yeah, there you go, and rotate the booty down. And let it come up. And one more, rotate the booty down. And now we're going to park it here. So choose the hand position that works for you. Maybe you have the hand still to the side. Maybe you have one hand to the front leg and the other hand on your knee. Maybe it's maybe a little bit deeper. Maybe you have this hand here and this hand on the back leg too. So Mara's going to choose this one. Oh, no, she's going for that one. All right. So we're, so we're going to take an inhale. We have one more positional isometric. So remember, you're taking this back leg and you're trying to externally rotate. All right. Ready? So take an inhale. Engage the abs. We're externally rotating. So driving this heel down into the floor. Even the knee is driving down, even though you're trying to bring your foot closer to this direction. For 10, 9, 8. So if I tried to lift her foot, I wouldn't be able to. Oh yeah, 3, 2. And now she's going to internally rotate this thigh a little more and try to lift the heel up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And then she's going to sink the booty down. Maybe get a little bit more in there. Relax the arms. And just for fun, let's try to go to the other direction. So she's going to do arm straight forward. She's going to externally rotate. This is called bear squat that we're going through. Trying to keep that opposite front leg down. Then we have both thighs pushing out. And now we have the other one taking over. This one trying to resist. So push both thighs away as you start turning to the other 90-90, turning the pelvis. Good, and then we're back in 90-90. And then that is it for today. Go ahead and unmute yourselves if you want and want to ask any questions, or if you feel better about just putting into the chat, you can. So you just finished the Kinstretch with Kim hip focus class, and here's your challenge. So we talked about being able to utilize the ranges of motion that we acquire and having the control to move in and to and at those end ranges. So your challenge is to be able to go from 90-90 into a pigeon stretch, not by wiggling into position, but actively getting to those ranges by engaging the tissues that we work. So basically you're going to start in your 90-90. You want to be able to slide though, so I'm not going to be on my mat because I won't be able to move. So I'm going to slide that away and get into my 90 position. Now this is a challenge just to kind of see how much ranges of motion you actively have. So the first thing that you actually need to do is you need to be able to lift this knee. Now if you have to be leaned out to lift your knee, then go ahead and do that. You don't have to lift high, you just have to lift enough to get off of the floor like that. Wherever you have to shift your body, so if you have to shift your body out a little bit, stay there. Don't seesaw up and down, okay? I'm gonna stay upright because that's where I can be, and I'm gonna clasp my hands so I'm creating tension through all of my tissue. You're gonna abduct or externally rotate that thigh. Meanwhile, this one is also engaged. You're still pressing this thigh towards the floor. And I'm going to hip extend, which we worked on. We worked on hip extend. And at the end, I'm going to try to internally rotate. There's my pigeon, okay? Then I'm gonna reverse. Now notice I had to shift my weight forward, so now I'm gonna keep my weight shifted forward like this. You could put your hands down if you'd like, because this is the challenge. The challenge is for the hip, okay? So we don't wanna be seesawing up and down and around. We wanna stabilize once we've kind of figured out that this is where we need to be. So if you need to be leaned way over, then that's okay, or off to the side. Stay there. Wherever it is that you have to move your spine, stay there. So I'm going to abduct or externally rotate, slide into hip extension, and then internally rotate at the end, and then put it down. You can put your foot down or not, or keep it toes flexed. Then externally rotate and abduct, and put it down. That's your challenge, okay? So keep your weight wherever it is that you had to shift. Externally rotate, abduct, extend, internally rotate, and down. That's hip extension and internal rotation. Then externally rotate and abduct it out and put it down. Let's do 2 more and then we'll do the other side. Externally rotate, abduct, hip extension. I've got stickies on the bottom of my socks. And then down. Then extend, externally rotate, and put it down. I didn't do the whole class, so my hip, this is actually very cold mobility right here. And hip extend and internally rotate and put it down. And extend, externally rotate, and put it down. A little squeaky noise for you. All right, so then we're gonna switch. I'm gonna go through my bear squat position that we did earlier in class. If you wanna go ahead and give it a try. I know you've probably seen that done where people just flip flop, but it's actually really good training for motor control for hips. So, all right, so remember, each side is different, so go ahead and see. I gotta be able to abduct here, and I need to be able to extend. Uh-oh, my sock stuck. I need to be able to extend, so I had to shift a little bit, but not as much. And then put it down, and then externally rotate. Hip extend, externally rotate, and all right, so I'm gonna park my body slightly shifted forward and a tiny bit out to the side, but not very much. Remember, once you've made those adjustments, try to keep your spine there. Keep that front leg active. Radiate tension, abs engaged. So you're going to externally rotate, abduct. Hip extend, internally rotate, put it down. Hip extend, externally rotate, abduct, and put it down. Externally rotate, abduct. Hip extend, internally rotate, put it down. Hip extend, externally rotate, abduct, put it down. 2 more. Externally rotate, hip extend, and internally rotate, put it down. Hip extend, externally rotate. Remember, this is just a challenge. So if your leg is just out to the side, then that's what you that is your active pigeon. I don't know why it's pigeon, but that's your active pigeon. Internally rotate, put it down. Now there's a lot of things going on here, right? Because there's this external rotation. So this is just a challenge, just to see what your active pigeon stretch is versus wiggling in and then getting there and being passively held into position. This is a great place to stretch, but actively, I don't own any of this, right? Because you didn't see me get into this position. I don't have as much external rotation with this back leg out to the side. At least not cold I don't, which cold mobility is really your true mobility, because you don't have to trick your nervous system into demonstrating something that it doesn't actually own right when you get up. So I hope you enjoyed my challenge. And remember, I appreciate any questions or comments that you'd like to leave. Thanks.